Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're going to finish this one off. So you can see here, real foggy looking thing, but not a lot of inclusions or anything left in it. We've gone over this stone twice already now, so I'll refer to the previous videos if you want to catch up to here, and I'll link them in the description. You can see here, there's a little bit of a shiny spot here and here. That's the areas that I didn't touch with the sintered diamonds, because if I touch them with the sintered diamonds, we're going to end up losing it completely. And that's got some really nice colour in that section. So you can see it just there. Now we want that shiny surface there, to spread across the entire face, because there's beautiful colour. I'll just give it a quick dunk and you'll see what I mean. This is more like what we're wanting to see, except a little bit better, because even the water's not perfect. It's not going to show you exactly what it's going to look like polished, but it does give you a good indication. We're going to see some nice greens over here, some nice red all the way through here. Unfortunately, we've got these black hotch patches, but they actually shine up quite well. It is opal after all, it's just not the precious opal that we're really after. So it will shine up just as well, if not better. Some of this black stuff really does get glossy, so I think we're okay. But as you can look at this, you can see how the light is dancing across the surface. That just shows you how complex this carving is. Like, there's so many uneven patches. It's going to be really tough to get into all these little nooks and crannies and make sure that you get all the novas. Each time you run through the novas, you have to hit every one of these surfaces, and you have to hit them pretty well. We'll spend a lot of time on the black and then less so on the rest. The most important part is the black, maybe even the brown, and then the grey and pink are actually a little bit less important because the cerium oxide really gets in there well as well. And a soft felt tip cerium oxide will get this polished up. No worries. It'll just take a long time. So if you're seeing this video a day later, you know why. This is going to take a bit of time. But it's not going to get done if we keep talking about it. So let's dive in. Now, normally I would be playing some royalty-free music, but today I felt like doing something a bit different for this stone because it's such a special stone. Looking at it here, we're just going over to the black novas. Now, everybody asks how long it takes to do this kind of thing, and it varies very much on the size of the stone and also the complexity, like the uneven surface. So this one, being really complex, took a long time. So if I work it out by albums that I was listening to as this went along, I would say that I spent probably 45 minutes on this Black Nova part here. Now I only recorded and shortened about 5 minutes of footage, which this is playing at about 400%. And you can see here I'm just getting all of these little grooves. Because I've spent so long with the Black Nova, the complexity of the surface actually changes quite a lot, and it does even out a lot compared to what it was when it started out. Now moving over to the brown Nova, this takes a little bit less time, so I'm talking about 25 minutes I think. I didn't quite get through a whole album, so about 25 minutes on the brown Nova. You're still hitting almost the entire surface. Here I start hitting the section that I've left untouched for all this time. But the Black Nova does most of the hard work, which is why it wears out so much faster. I replaced the Black Nova probably twice, maybe 3 times as many times as even this 600 brown. And the grey and the rose, you rarely need to replace those. They last a long time. You'll go through like 5 Black Novas before you go through a single grey. And you'll probably go through 10 before you go through a single rose if you're really gentle with it. And speaking of gentle, I'm being really gentle with the brown. You're still going to take off material with this 600 Nova. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. And you can see here, yeah, just hitting all the surfaces. You kind of start getting a feel for the stone by the time you've spent 45 minutes on the Black Nova. So you know the angles, you know the directions to get into the grooves, you know the shape of the grooves. You kind of get a bit of muscle memory and you don't think about it so much. Now going across to the grey. So 1200 grit, American grit standard. And you can see here just a lot more methodical. I'm not going over the same surface areas a lot anymore. So I'll hit most areas 2-3 times kind of thing. And this probably takes, I don't know, another 15 minutes or so. You've really done a lot of the hard work with the brown and black, and this is really just starting to get that pre-polish stage going. Now, some people, when they're using cabbing wheels, will go from this kind of grit all the way through to the cerium oxide, or their metal oxide, or polishing paste of choice. But I like to do the 3000. I find that the 3000 grit between really helps out when you're carving. I've played with a few cabbing wheels, and it doesn't have the 3000 grit doesn't have the same effect cabbing as it does when it's carving. When it's carving, I find that it's really needed. I can rarely get away with skipping it. So yeah, here we are with the grey. Like I said, don't spend too long on this. This is just the pre-polish. I found a couple areas that I've improved a lot with the 600 brown, but this one you're really just trying to hit every surface. And then we're going across to the rose. So the rose is exactly the same as the grey. You're just kind of hitting all those areas, getting this final pre-polish. And this I would spend even less time, so maybe I would have spent 10 minutes or so. And I probably spent longer than I really had to. I was kind of really interested in a few areas. There was even a little patch that I found a little bit of an imperfection in that I managed to get out with this rose. And if I wasn't going to do that, that would have shaved another 5 minutes off. I should have really dropped back to maybe the grey, if not the brown, to get rid of the imperfection that I did. But I saw it there and I had this loaded, so I went for it. It works, it just takes a lot longer. And then yeah, we're going to move on to the polishing, the final polish. And I'm still using the Blacklighters secret polish. I should find out what it is, but I really like the secret part of it, so it won't be a secret if I find out. And yeah, I can always spend a long time on this. Really, it's only going to take maybe 5 minutes if you're really focused, 10 minutes. But me, I like to just sit there and do it. I really don't care how much time I spend on this. You're keeping it wet. You're just chucking more polish on there every now and then. You're not worried about overheating the stone or anything. You're using really light pressure and it's not incredibly abrasive. So you don't build up a lot of heat. It's quite chilled out and you don't need to think anymore. Now you're just hitting every surface about 100 times. As many times as you really want. Probably only need to do it once or twice, but like I said, I like doing it, so we just chill out and we hit every surface, and that's it. Time to reveal the final piece. Well, this Black Opal direct carving piece from Bay State Opal has come through pretty well in the end. I thought we had a few issues, but we've managed to get past them quite well, and we've ended up with a piece that has really taken a polish. If you have a look at this, it has shined up pretty well, which I'm pleased with. Now, it's not a perfect gem carving, and we'll get into why. So just here, in the right angle, you can see the sand just starting to show through the face. And also, if I can get another angle, alright, it's quite difficult to see, but right there, you can see that that's that crack caused by that sand right under that really nice piece of opal there. So that chip has held on through the entire process, and it's actually incredibly stable, but it's clearly cracked along here, and it joins in with that sand, because that sand is underneath that beautiful colour. And it's only really thin like a shell skin on that surface. So a little bit unfortunate, but the rest of the stone is quite interesting. There's a lot of red in that lower colour bar, which we had to grind through over here. We hunted a bit more over here and we hit this black potch, a little bit of it over here as well. And yeah, still got a nice green blue over here. The red sits underneath, but it was too thin. You can see here that we were just starting to reveal it on the back. Unfortunately, this section here didn't turn out quite so well. I've left a little bit of sand in this section here because I don't want to destabilize or break off this main section. And it is quite nice, quite a nice red all the way through here, and I don't want to damage that at this point. So this is it. It's a really weird shape. You can see here from the light that it's definitely not your standard cab. In fact, it is a very custom carved piece. Just because of a lot of these kind of imperfections here and the thinness in some of these areas, like just in here, a lot of that means that this would be unlikely to be set. So I'd be saying this is a nice specimen or just a carving to sit in the display box, similar to the one that it was sent to me in. So one of those nice clear window display boxes, and a collector would love to have it in their collection, but I don't think it's destined for jewelry just because this section over here I believe would be fairly fragile with the sand behind it, and it's really thin in some sections like over here. But hopefully it gave you a good insight into how to get a stone like this done from start to finish using your sintered diamond burrs and nova points, and the polishing at the end. I could do that for hours. I could do the polishing with a metal oxide for a long time. I don't know why, it's just something that I really love doing. It gives me the same kind of feeling as when I'm carving up boulder opal. That mud that you produce, I don't know, there's something therapeutic about it. And after a long day at work, it's quite good to just sit down and polish. I would willingly do that as a day job full time if I could. So, yeah, and it results in a beautiful shine like this. But that's it for this one. We may see this piece again just before I send it back off to Lou, back to the US, where it will find a new home, I believe. But it may appear one sneaky last time on the channel, because it's a good way to talk about another topic that I want to get into, and that a lot of people have been asking me to get into, more importantly, and that is pricing of opal carvings. So that video will come up, and then this bad boy gets boxed up and sent overseas again. Which, never to be seen again by me, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. So, I'll get ready to say goodbye to it, and yeah, see you in the next video, guys.